Hello, it's so good to have you here. Welcome. Here, we talk about how to take care of your health to enjoy life to the fullest.
What if everything you believed about aging was wrong? Most people think memory loss, confusion, and brain fog are just part of getting older. But that's not true. In fact, new research from Harvard just confirmed something truly shocking. A single fruit, yes, one you can buy at your local market, has the power to begin repairing your brain after 60. This isn't a miracle cure. It's science. It's real. And it's been hidden in plain sight for decades. I'm going to show you how this humble fruit, backed by flavonoids and natural anti-inflammation compounds, is helping seniors regain clarity, sharpen their memory, and feel more like themselves again, often in just a few weeks. And no, it's not what you think. Stay with me until the end, because I'll not only reveal the fruit, but also how to use it the right way, and which common mistakes to avoid. The results might surprise you. But more than that, they might just change the rest of your life. Fear of losing memory and identity. Have you ever walked into a room and forgotten why you went there? It seems small, harmless even. But for many people over 60, these moments spark something deeper, a quiet fear that maybe, just maybe, their mind is slipping. It's not about forgetting where you put your keys. It's about the terror of forgetting your son's name. There's something profoundly human about memory. It's not just mental, it's emotional. It's the ability to remember your first kiss, the smell of your mother's cooking, the sound of your grandchild's laugh. Losing that isn't just inconvenient, it feels like losing pieces of who you are. A woman once told me, "I'm not afraid of death. I'm afraid of not knowing my own reflection." That stayed with me, because behind the polite smiles, many seniors carry this invisible weight, the fear that their identity could dissolve silently and no one would notice until it's too late. This fear doesn't discriminate. It visits those who were once sharp, articulate, full of life. And it often creeps in slowly, missed appointments, repeated stories, confusion over faces. When it begins, most people don't talk about it, but deep inside they feel the shift. And yet, what if we've been looking at this all wrong? What if there were simple, natural ways to protect your brain, ways backed by science, yet ignored by most doctors? Let's open that door and see what real hope actually looks like. Scientific prevention and realistic hope. What if I told you that nearly half of Alzheimer's cases could be prevented, not with high-tech treatments or expensive pills, but with simple daily habits? That's exactly what a major study published in The Lancet revealed. Around 45% of cases, they say, are linked to modifiable lifestyle factors. That means real hope starts with small, intentional steps. We're not talking about miracles here. We're talking about choices, what you eat, how you move, the way you rest and connect. Harvard, JAMA, even nature have echoed this message. Lifestyle is medicine. And when it comes to memory protection, your plate might matter more than your pharmacy. The problem is, most people don't hear this in time. They wait for a diagnosis before taking action. But here's the truth. Brain rejuvenation isn't something reserved for the lucky few. It's a process that can start today, regardless of age or background. The earlier, the better. But never is too late. I once met a man in his 70s who began walking daily and replaced his sugar habit with blueberries and walnuts. Within months, his energy soared, his mood lifted, and his family noticed the change. That's not just anecdote. It's what happens when anti-inflammation becomes a lifestyle. Now, imagine if we combined that kind of simplicity with the healing power of nature, especially fruits that heal, naturally packed with flavonoids and nutrients that support neuroregeneration. Could the answer to Alzheimer prevention be sitting right in your fruit bowl? Food is medicine. For generations, we've been taught that medicine comes in bottles and blister packs. But ancient wisdom, and now modern science, points to something far simpler. Healing starts with what's on your plate. Nature designed certain fruits not just to nourish, but to protect and even restore brain health. That's not fantasy, it's neuroscience. Think about it. While a pill might treat symptoms, real food works at the root. Bananas rich in magnesium support focus, while dark berries deliver flavonoids that reduce brain inflammation. Every bite can be an act of healing. It's not about going all organic overnight. It's about upgrading one snack, one meal at a time. A friend once replaced her nightly cookie with a handful of cherries and a slice of kiwi. Within weeks, her sleep improved, and she described feeling brighter in the morning. These are small swaps, but they add up. That's how natural healing works. Not with fireworks, but with quiet, consistent support. It's time to reframe how we think about food. Instead of fearing what to avoid, we can focus on what to include: grapes, oranges, apples, and especially those rich in antioxidants. Every color on your plate is a sign of life, and life feeds life. Brain rejuvenation is a delicious process when you let it be. And while this might sound too simple to be true, the deeper truth is even more fascinating. Because behind every fruit that heals, there's a chemical shield forming: flavonoids, anthocyanins, vitamin C, all working together to fight back against silent enemies inside the brain. Brain inflammation and oxidation. Most people don't realize this, but Alzheimer's rarely begins with memory loss. It starts silently, with something far more subtle and sneaky: inflammation. Not the kind you feel after an injury, but a chronic, low-level burn deep in your brain. This is the real villain behind the curtain. Oxidative stress adds fuel to that fire. It's like rust forming on your neurons, slowly weakening your brain's ability to process, remember, and connect. And here's the kicker: this process can start decades before symptoms show up. By the time forgetfulness appears, the damage has already taken root. But there's good news. Just like rust on metal can be slowed or reversed with the right care, your brain can be protected with antioxidants and anti-inflammation strategies. That's where certain fruits come in, working like internal firefighters, cooling the flames before they spread. Let's make it practical. A daily handful of blueberries or half a pomegranate isn't just tasty, it's therapeutic. These foods reduce the invisible swelling in the brain that often leads to memory decline. It's one of the simplest forms of Alzheimer's prevention you can adopt today. And while you're probably wondering which fruits are the most powerful allies in this fight, that's exactly where we're heading. Because a handful of these fruits, often overlooked, hold the secret to natural neural regeneration and memory protection. Flavonoids and anthocyanins as a brain shield. Flavonoids might sound like something out of a chemistry book, but they're actually natural compounds found in fruits that act like bodyguards for your brain. These tiny molecules fight off inflammation, neutralize toxins, and protect your memory pathways from wearing down. Think of them as antioxidants with a mission. Anthocyanins, a specific type of flavonoid, give fruits their rich blue, red, and purple colors. You see them in blueberries, blackberries, cherries, and they do more than just please the eye. Inside your brain, they strengthen blood flow, reduce oxidative stress, and help build the walls that memory needs to survive. And you don't need fancy powders or expensive supplements. Half a cup of berries a day can deliver enough flavonoids to begin creating that protective shield. It's like brushing your brain's teeth. Simple, regular care that pays off over time. A neurologist once told me that if every senior ate one serving of flavonoid-rich fruits a day, we'd see a drop in early cognitive decline within a generation. That's the power we're dealing with. This isn't hype. It's backed by decades of nutritional neuroscience. But here's the twist. These fruits don't just protect the brain, they also heal it emotionally. Because some of them do something unexpected. They brighten your mood, lift your spirit, and restore parts of your personality that stress and aging try to take away. Science plus emotion, the brain and the here. The brain isn't just about memory, it's also where our emotions live. And when inflammation creeps in, it doesn't only affect logic or recall. It dampens joy, blurs our sense of self, and mutes the spark that makes us feel alive. That's why Alzheimer's is so heartbreaking. It steals the person before the body. But here's something beautiful. Some fruits don't just shield your neurons, they uplift your spirit. Strawberries, for instance, have been linked to improved mood and reduced anxiety, thanks to their rich mix of flavonoids and vitamin C. It's like nature knew the brain and heart needed to heal together. I remember a caregiver once telling me that after her husband started eating a mix of blueberries and walnuts every morning, he became more cheerful, less agitated. It wasn't just about memory, it was about presence. That's the kind of change you can't measure with a scan. This is where natural healing truly shines. It doesn't just delay decline, it restores connection. Eating fruits that heal isn't only about cognition. It's about giving someone their laughter back, their curiosity, their light. It's about letting them feel like themselves again. But even as we celebrate these healing foods, we must be cautious. Because not every fruit is your friend, and some can actually worsen brain health in certain cases. So before you run to the grocery store, let me warn you about a few surprising ones you'll want to avoid. Hidden risks: grapefruit, raisins, starfruit. Now, not every fruit is as innocent as it looks. Some, despite their healthy reputation, can silently sabotage your brain, especially for older adults or those on certain medications. Take grapefruit, for example. It interacts with dozens of common prescriptions, altering how your body absorbs them and sometimes magnifying side effects. Raisins might seem like a sweet, harmless snack, but they're highly concentrated in sugar and can spike inflammation if eaten excessively. That sticky sweetness can be rough on your brain's chemistry, especially if you're fighting oxidative stress. Natural doesn't always mean safe in every context. And then there's star fruit, a beautiful, exotic fruit that hides a dangerous secret. In people with kidney issues, even a small amount can release neurotoxins that impair brain function. It's rare, yes, but it's real. And it's exactly the kind of mistake that happens when we assume fruit equals good across the board. You don't need to fear fruit. You just need to be aware. Healing with nature requires wisdom. That's why I always say, know your body, know your plate. Choosing brain-friendly fruits isn't just about what to add, it's about knowing what to leave out. Because when you commit to this daily, it becomes more than food. It becomes a ritual, one that builds protection day after day, like planting seeds in a garden of longevity. And that brings us to something powerful: how to create daily rituals that make this healing journey effortless. Daily brain protection rituals. What you do once doesn't change much, but what you do every day, that rewires your life. When it comes to memory protection and brain rejuvenation, consistency beats intensity. You don't need dramatic changes. You need simple, powerful rituals that you can repeat with joy, not stress. Imagine starting your morning with a bowl of oats topped with blueberries and chia seeds. That's not just breakfast, it's brain armor. Add green tea for flavonoids and a pinch of cinnamon to support blood sugar stability, and you've created a ritual that feeds your neurons and your soul. Evening rituals matter too. A small handful of walnuts before bed supports melatonin and brain repair while you sleep. Pair it with a calming tea, like lemon balm or chamomile, and you're not just winding down, you're signaling your body to heal. It's a quiet revolution, one spoonful at a time. To keep it simple, write down 3 things: your brain-friendly fruit, your mood afterward, and your sleep quality. This tiny journaling habit makes your healing visible. It builds commitment. Over time, you'll start to feel more focused, more balanced, and the people around you will notice. Because at the end of the day, this isn't about a diet. It's a way of living, a way of respecting your mind, honoring your memories, and choosing vitality every single day. And when you feel that shift, it changes how you show up for the people you love. But this isn't just about you, it's about them too. Because when your mind thrives, your relationships deepen. And nothing proves that more than seeing how food can restore laughter, clarity, and connection in those living with memory loss. The emotional impact of healing, restoring joy and connection. When memory begins to fade, it's not just facts and dates that disappear. It's laughter, warmth, and emotional closeness. A spouse starts repeating the same question. A grandparent forgets a name. And slowly, those tender moments of connection begin to feel fragile. That's the quiet heartbreak of cognitive decline. But what if you could bring some of that light back? What if the right foods, taken consistently, could brighten the fog, even just a little? That's what research is beginning to show. Anti-inflammation through food doesn't just slow disease, it rekindles personality. It invites joy back to the table. A woman once told me, through tears, that after introducing brain-healing fruits into her husband's diet, blueberries, kiwi, and citrus, he started humming again while making coffee. A small thing, right? But for her, it was everything. That moment reminded her that he was still in there. This is where brain health stops being clinical and becomes personal. Because when the spark returns, so does the smile. And that moment of eye contact, that shared joke, that peaceful nap, it's not just healing for them. It's healing for the whole family. And maybe, just maybe, this is your chance too. A chance to reclaim your own energy, your clarity, your vitality. Because the future version of yourself, the elder you're becoming, depends on what you choose today. Consistency and personal responsibility. There's a future version of you that's counting on today's decisions. Not the perfect version, not the one-day dream, but the real you, aging with grace, clarity, and energy. That version won't be built overnight. It will be shaped through tiny acts of consistency, repeated when no one's watching. Every time you reach for a fruit instead of a processed snack, you're voting for that future. Every time you move your body, calm your mind, or sleep just a bit earlier, you're laying a brick on the path toward longevity. You don't need to be perfect, you need to be present. This isn't about guilt, it's about power. Because even if your past was full of stress, bad habits, or neglect, today is a clean slate. And your brain, as remarkable as it is, responds quickly to care. That's the magic of neuroregeneration. It wants to heal. It just needs your permission. So ask yourself, who do you want to be in 5 years? 10. Do you want to recognize the person in the mirror, not just by face, but by spirit? That version starts with the decision to show up for your brain, to be your own protector, to choose life over fear. And if you've come this far, it means something inside you is ready. Ready for the truth, ready for the change. And as you'll see in just a moment, Harvard has just confirmed what ancient wisdom always knew. Sometimes all it takes is one fruit to begin repairing the mind. So now that you know the truth, what will you do with it? Will you go back to old habits and wait for symptoms to show up? Or will you take that first small step today to protect your memory, your identity, and the future version of yourself? Because the fruits that heal are already within reach, and your brain is waiting. Imagine waking up clearer, feeling sharper, laughing more, being present with your loved ones, not distracted, not lost. That's not a fantasy. That's what happens when you choose consistency, anti-inflammation, and natural healing over convenience and confusion. Let me ask you, what's one ritual you can start today? Write it in the comments. And if this message spoke to you, share it with someone you love, someone who deserves to remember who they are. Because we're in this together. And if you want to keep learning simple, science-backed ways to protect your brain and live with more purpose, subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon. New insights are coming every week, and trust me, you won't want to miss what's next. The elder you're becoming starts now. Choose well.
Go check the link in my bio. There is something extra waiting just for you, my friend.